Throughout history, visionary minds like Albert Einstein and Thomas Edison have revolutionized our world with inventions like the theory of relativity and the electric light bulb. Yet, similar to Stanley Meyer's water-powered car and Royal Raymond Rife's cancer-treating machine, some innovations faced insurmountable obstacles from the powers that be. Today, we explore these remarkable stories. Join us as we unveil 20 forbidden technologies silencing their inventors. Number 20. Water-powered car. Stanley Meyer. Imagine a world where cars run solely on water, emitting nothing but water vapor. This isn't a scene from a futuristic movie, but the vision of inventor Stanley Meyer, who in the 1980s claimed to have made this incredible technology a reality. Meyer developed what he called the water fuel cell, proposing that his device could split water into hydrogen and oxygen through a method called high-voltage electrolysis, far surpassing the efficiency of standard electrolysis techniques. Meyer's water fuel cell was not just a claim. He demonstrated his technology with a converted dune buggy, which he stated could travel across the United States on 83 gallons, about 314 liters, of water. The implications of such a technology were staggering. It promised a future free from oil dependency, potentially destabilizing the multi-trillion-dollar global oil industry. However, Stanley Meyer's groundbreaking innovation came to a sudden halt. In 1998, after dining with potential Belgian investors, Meyer suddenly ran outside, clutched his chest, and died shortly thereafter. The official cause of death was ruled a cerebral aneurysm, but suspicions of foul play and poisoning persist, fueled by the high stakes surrounding his invention. Number 19. Geet fuel processor Paul Pantone. Meet Paul Pantone, the inventor who claimed to turn waste into energy with his groundbreaking Geet Global Environmental Energy Technology fuel processor. Developed in the 1990s, this device promised a revolution in energy efficiency by transforming a mixture of 80% water and 20% fuel into a clean-burning plasma gas. Pantone asserted that his technology could power engines using a fraction of the typical fuel and significantly reduce emissions, potentially reducing reliance on conventional fossil fuels. The Geet fuel processor worked on a principle Pantone referred to as plasma technology. According to him, it utilized a reaction chamber where vapors from a fuel-water mix were transformed into a form of plasma, which then could be used to power internal combustion engines. Intriguingly, Pantone suggested that this system could run on a variety of fuel sources, including used motor oil, old paint, and even coffee, which presented an enticing prospect for drastically reducing waste. However, Pantone's journey was fraught with challenges. Despite demonstrating his invention in various showcases, skepticism from the scientific community was rampant. The situation escalated when legal issues and claims of fraud emerged. Pantone was eventually committed to a mental institution, a move that many of his supporters labeled as an attempt to suppress and discredit his technology. Number 18. Ogle Carburetor. Tom Ogle. In 1977, Tom Ogle, then just 24, from El Paso, Texas, claimed to have designed a carburetor that could dramatically increase fuel efficiency in cars. His system, lacking a conventional carburetor or fuel pump, vaporized gasoline from the tank before injecting it into the engine, promising an incredible leap from about 13 miles per gallon to more than 100 miles per gallon. The impact of such a technology was staggering. If Ogle's claims held true, it could halve national oil demands, reshaping economies and geopolitical dynamics reliant on oil. His invention caught the attention of not only the media, but also big oil companies and the auto industry. But as his invention gained prominence, Ogle's life took a dark turn. After reportedly refusing offers from major companies wanting to buy and presumably shelve his patent, Ogle claimed to have faced harassment and threats. His financial backing suddenly vanished, and potential deals evaporated into thin air. Tragically, in 1981, Just a few years after his groundbreaking invention, Tom Ogle died under mysterious circumstances. Officially, his death was attributed to a combination of alcohol and an overdose of the painkiller Darvin. However, those close to him and conspiracy theorists suggest foul play, believing his demise was orchestrated to suppress his invention. No prototype of the Ogle Carburetor has ever been publicly verified, leading to further speculation and mystery. Despite extensive media coverage during its development, the technology seemingly disappeared, much like its inventor. Number 17. Cold Fusion. Eugene Malov. Imagine a world where clean, almost limitless energy is at our fingertips. This was the dream of Dr. Eugene Malov, an MIT-trained scientist and chief science writer at his alma mater's news office, who fiercely advocated for cold fusion, a type of energy production that promised to revolutionize the world's energy landscape. In 1989, the scientific community was shaken when electrochemists Martin Fleischmann and Stanley Ponce announced they had achieved nuclear fusion at room temperature. Unlike traditional fusion, which requires immense temperatures and pressures, cold fusion could potentially provide a vast source of cheap and environmentally friendly energy. Despite initial excitement, the inability of other scientists to replicate these results led to widespread skepticism and dismissal of cold fusion as pseudoscience. Eugene Malov, however, was not deterred. He accused the mainstream scientific community, including researchers at MIT, of manipulating experimental data to suppress positive cold fusion results. His accusations and his resignation from MIT to protest what he saw as unethical behavior by the scientific establishment were pivotal in bringing attention to what he perceived as a major scientific injustice. Tragically, Malov's life was cut short in 2004 when he was murdered while cleaning out his rental property. The circumstances of his death have fueled further speculation and conspiracy theories about the lengths to which the opponents of cold fusion might go to silence its proponents. Number 16. Machine. Bruce De Palma. Step into the intriguing world of Bruce De Palma, a maverick scientist who, in the 1970s, dared to challenge the fundamental laws of physics with his creation, the Machine, also known as the homopolar generator. De Palma believed that his device could generate energy far more efficiently than traditional methods, tapping into what he considered the untapped potential of spinning magnetic fields. The Machine was not just any generator, it was designed to operate on principles that some claimed violated the law of conservation of energy. According to De Palma, his device could produce 5 times more power than it consumed, offering a possibility of endless clean energy. The core mechanism involved a spinning magnet that, according to De Palma's theories, harnessed energy directly from the space around it due to its unique magnetic field interactions. However, De Palma's groundbreaking ideas were met with more than just academic skepticism. Reports suggest that there were concerted efforts from both governmental and industrial entities to suppress his work. The potential disruption to the existing energy markets posed by De Palma's invention may have led to significant pushback, including barriers to patenting the technology and challenges in obtaining funding for research. Number 15. Cancer treatment. Harry Hoxsey. Harry Hoxsey, a figure whose alternative cancer treatment once sparked both nationwide interest and significant legal battles. In the 1920s, Hoxsey, a former coal miner, claimed a herbal remedy passed down from his great-grandfather could cure cancer. His formula combined herbs such as red clover and burdock root, which he believed could remove toxins and restore bodily health. Hoxsey's approach led to the opening of the Hoxsey Clinic in Dallas, Texas, which became one of the largest privately owned cancer centers in the U.S. Hoxsey's treatment garnered thousands of testimonials from patients healed according to claims. However, despite public support, the medical establishment was quick to react. The American Medical Association, headed by Dr. Morris Fishbein, labeled Hoxsey's treatment as quackery. Legal battles ensued as the FDA and AMA sought to shut down his clinics and halt the use of his herbal mixtures. The contention reached its peak when the FDA issued a public beware notice against his remedies, and the Postal Service banned the shipment of his treatments across state lines. Ultimately, Hoxie's clinic was forced to close in the United States. Number 14. Oxygen Theory of Combustion, Antoine Laurent Lavoisier. Antoine Laurent Lavoisier, often hailed as the father of modern chemistry, revolutionized the scientific world with his oxygen theory of combustion. Before Lavoisier, the phlogiston theory dominated, explaining combustion as a material releasing a mysterious substance called phlogiston. Lavoisier debunked this, demonstrating that combustion results from oxygen combining with other elements. However, Lavoisier's groundbreaking advancements in chemistry were overshadowed by the tumultuous times of the French Revolution. Beyond his scientific endeavors, Lavoisier held the position of a tax collector under the old regime, an affiliation that rendered him a target during the radical phase of the Revolution. His role in the Ferme Générale, an unpopular tax farming entity, and his aristocratic status contributed to his downfall. In 1794, in an act reflecting the chaotic and anti-aristocratic sentiments of the Revolution, Lavoisier was convicted by the Revolutionary Tribunal under charges of conspiracy against the people of France. He was executed by guillotine, cutting short the life of one of the most influential chemists in history. Number 13. Vortex Technology, Victor Schauberger. Step into the world of Victor Schauberger, an Austrian inventor whose groundbreaking work in the 1940s could have revolutionized how we understand energy and propulsion. Schauberger observed nature closely, particularly how water flows and how fish like trout and salmon easily swim upstream. From these observations, he developed what he called implosion turbines and unique vortex devices that mimicked these natural movements, aiming to create efficient, environmentally friendly propulsion systems. These innovations laid the groundwork for what could have been advancements in anti-gravity and silent flight technologies. Schauberger believed that by working in harmony with nature's patterns, rather than against them, we could unlock new, sustainable ways of generating energy and moving through space. However, despite the potential of his vortex technology to transform our energy systems, Schauberger faced significant obstacles. After bringing his inventions to the United States in the late 1950s, he discovered that powerful interests preferred to keep these innovations under wraps rather than develop them. This suppression stemmed from a desire to maintain control over existing energy resources and technologies. Disheartened, Schauberger spent his final years warning of a future where energy monopolies could lead to ecological destruction and global dictatorship. Number 12. Deis Carburetor, Deis. In the world of fuel efficiency, few stories are as chilling and mysterious as that of Deis, an inventor whose life ended under enigmatic circumstances. Born in the Netherlands, Deis was an adept engineer who claimed to have developed a revolutionary fuel efficiency device that could drastically reduce gasoline consumption in vehicles. The device, known simply as the Deis Carburetor, was said to use a series of magnets to alter the molecular structure of fuel. This purported modification allowed for more complete combustion of gasoline, thereby increasing the mileage per gallon. According to Deis, his invention could improve fuel efficiency by as much as 200%, a claim that, if proven, could have turned the automotive and oil industries upside down. Deis wasn't just a solitary inventor. He showcased his device in practical demonstrations. He reportedly drove from the Netherlands to Switzerland on a single tank of fuel, showcasing the remarkable potential of his invention. These public displays did not go unnoticed, and soon, Deis was in talks with major oil companies and allegedly attracted the interest of government agencies. However, the story takes a dark turn. In 1996, Ari de Geus was found dead in his car in a parking lot in Switzerland. Officially, his death was ruled a suicide, but friends and supporters suspected foul play, believing that his invention threatened too many high-stake financial interests in the oil sector. Number 11. Rif Machine, Raymond Rife. In the early 1930s, a brilliant yet controversial invention emerged from the laboratory of Royal Raymond Rife, an American scientist who believed he had found a cure for cancer. Rife developed the Rif Machine, a device that purportedly used specific radio frequencies to destroy pathogens, including cancer cells, without harming surrounding healthy tissue. Rife's device was based on the principle that each disease-causing organism has a particular resonant frequency which, when amplified, could destroy it. Rife claimed his beam ray device could target and eliminate these organisms by tuning into their unique frequency and blasting them with it. In 1934, he conducted a clinical trial with 16 terminally ill cancer patients. According to Rife, after just 3 months, all patients were cured, a claim that would have rewritten medical books. However, despite initial interest and apparent success, Rife's revolutionary technology met fierce opposition. The medical establishment, led by figures associated with the American Medical Association, criticized his methodology and results. By the late 1930s, Rife's laboratories were subjected to raids by authorities, and key documents were reportedly destroyed. His supporters claimed these actions were deliberate efforts to suppress a technology that threatened established medical practices and pharmaceutical profits. Rife's life ended in despair. Plagued by lawsuits and financial ruin, he died in 1971, largely forgotten and discredited. Number 10. Chronovisor, Father Pellegrino Ernetti. Dive into the mysterious tale of the Chronovisor, a device straight out of a science fiction novel, yet claimed to be real by Father Pellegrino Ernetti, an Italian priest and exorcist. Ernetti stunned the world when he declared that he had invented a machine capable of viewing past events, aptly named the Chronovisor. According to him, this device could tune into the past and project historical and biblical scenes as if watching television. From witnessing Christ's crucifixion to observing a performance in ancient Rome, the implications were staggering. Ernetti detailed that the Chronovisor functioned by decoding the electromagnetic radiation left over from past events using a complex arrangement of antennae alongside precious alloys and other undisclosed materials. He even claimed to possess a photograph of Christ on the cross, allegedly captured using this machine, stirring both awe and controversy. However, skepticism and disbelief surged, and the Church's stance remained ambiguously supportive, yet cautious. Amidst growing pressure and accusations of forgery, Ernetti receded from public view, and the Chronovisor's existence became shrouded in secrecy. Number 9. Anti-gravity device, Thomas Townsend. During the early 20th century, Brown, an American physicist, stumbled upon a phenomenon he named electrogravitics, which suggested that electric fields might influence gravitational forces. Brown's investigations led to the development of the Biefeld-Brown effect, demonstrating that high-voltage capacitors could exhibit a mysterious thrust in the absence of any conventional propellant. His most notable invention, a device later termed as the gravitator, showed potential for manipulating gravitational forces using electrical charges, challenging our fundamental understanding of physics. However, Brown's journey into the unknown wasn't just met with skepticism, but veiled in secrecy. By the 1950s, much of his research was allegedly co-opted into classified military projects, sparking rumors that he had successfully developed technology capable of influencing gravity, an innovation that could revolutionize aviation and possibly much more. Yet, despite the groundbreaking nature of his work, mainstream scientific communities largely dismissed his findings, citing a lack of peer-reviewed evidence and theoretical backing. What's more, the details surrounding Brown's research became increasingly obscured by government classifications, further fueling conspiracy theories about the suppression of anti-gravity technology. Number 8. Tucker Automobile. Preston Tucker. In the late 1940s, an ambitious inventor named Preston Tucker dreamed of revolutionizing the American automotive industry with his innovative car, the Tucker 48. Dubbed the car of tomorrow, it boasted safety and design features far ahead of its time. With a rear engine, disc brakes, a padded dashboard, seat belts, and a pop-out windshield designed to eject during a crash to protect passengers, the Tucker 48 seemed destined to set new standards in the auto industry. The Tucker 48 also featured a directional third headlight, known as the Cyclops Eye, which would turn in the direction of the steering, improving night visibility, a feature unheard of at the time. Tucker's vision extended beyond just the technicalities. He wanted to make driving safer and more efficient at a time when road fatalities were common. However, the automotive establishment and regulatory barriers were not ready for such disruption. After producing just 51 cars in a Chicago plant, Tucker's company faced an onslaught of negative publicity and legal challenges, spearheaded by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Accusations of stock fraud dominated headlines, overshadowing the vehicle's pioneering features. Despite being acquitted of all charges, the damage was done. The Tucker Corporation was forced into bankruptcy in 1949, and Preston Tucker died 6 years later, disillusioned but not defeated. Number 7. Warden Cliff Tower. Nikola Tesla. In the early 20th century, Nikola Tesla, one of history's most brilliant and visionary scientists, embarked on an ambitious project that could have changed the world: the Warden Cliff Tower. Located in Shoreham, New York, this tower was not just any building. It was to be the beating heart of Tesla's bold plan for global wireless transmission of energy and information. The idea was revolutionary: a world interconnected through an invisible web of energy that could carry both power and data across continents. Tesla imagined a future where information and electricity were as accessible as the air we breathe, free and ubiquitous for everyone, everywhere. Warden Cliff Tower stood as a monumental beacon of potential, reaching 187 feet into the sky. It was designed to tap into the Earth's ionosphere, harnessing its power to transmit electrical energy without wires. The system could eliminate the need for power plants, radically decentralizing electricity production and making it freely available to all. However, Tesla's dream came up against harsh realities. Financial difficulties plagued the project from the start. J.P. Morgan, Tesla's key financier, withdrew support after doubting the feasibility and profitability of Tesla's grand vision. Without funding, the project faltered, and the tower was never completed. By 1917, the partially built Warden Cliff Tower was demolished to pay off Tesla's debts. Tesla's vision of a wirelessly powered world crumbled with it, leaving his grand project as one of the greatest what-ifs of technological history. Number 6. Orgone Accumulator. Wilhelm Reich. Dive into the intriguing world of Wilhelm Reich, an Austrian psychoanalyst who ventured beyond the bounds of conventional science with his invention of the Orgone Accumulator in the 1930s. This device, based on his discovery of what he called orgone energy, was said to harness the life force itself, offering benefits that ranged from curing diseases to enhancing vitality. Reich, once a disciple of Freud, broke away from the mainstream psychoanalytic community to pursue his theories about orgone, a ubiquitous energy he believed was the key to understanding everything from the weather to human behavior. The Orgone Accumulator, a simple yet controversial device, was essentially a box that an individual could sit inside. It was lined with alternating layers of organic and inorganic materials that supposedly trapped orgone energy, allowing the user to absorb its benefits. The idea was groundbreaking and provocative. Reich claimed that this energy could battle illnesses, including cancer, and improve overall well-being. His assertions, however, were not just met with skepticism. they ignited a firestorm of opposition. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration intervened, initiating a campaign against Reich, branding him a fraud and ordering all accumulators to be destroyed. In 1956, the controversy reached its peak when Reich was sentenced to 2 years in prison for contempt of court related to the distribution of his literature and devices. Tragically, he died in jail just over a year later. Before we move on, here's today's subscriber's pick. Take a fascinating look back at early 20th century innovations with this collection of historical photographs showcasing the pioneering days of robotics and human-machine interfaces. From a man who seems to be having sexual relations with a robot to an individual experimenting with a brain interface device laden with wires, these images offer a glimpse into the audacious spirit of past inventors. And let's not overlook the human-controlled robot punishing a lady and the man levitating with mechanical device. Each photograph tells a story of ambition that may have been stifled by unseen forces. Where are these inventions today? How do they reflect the technological aspirations of their time? And what can they teach us about the trajectory of innovation that has shaped our modern world? Share your comments in the section below. Number 5. Searle Effect Generator. John Searle. Envisioned in the mid-20th century, the Searle Effect Generator promised a revolutionary form of energy production, challenging the very fabric of scientific understanding. John Searle, a British inventor, claimed his device could produce clean and sustainable energy by harnessing the natural dynamics of spinning magnetic fields. This was not just any generator. It was based on unique configurations of magnets that supposedly created a perpetual motion machine. Searle alleged that when these specially arranged magnets moved past each other, they induced an electrical current without needing any external power source, effectively creating free energy. The potential implications of the SEG were staggering. Imagine a world with limitless power, no fuel costs, no emissions, and no large-scale power infrastructure. However, mainstream science was quick to label Searle's creation as impossible, citing violations of fundamental laws of thermodynamics. Despite demonstrating his device in numerous public displays, Searle faced immense opposition. His work was met with skepticism and outright hostility from the scientific community and government bodies, culminating in legal battles and raids on his workshop. Financial and legal pressures eventually led to Searle's public obscurity, but his story persists in the annals of alternative energy enthusiasts. Number 4. Energy Machine. Joseph Newman. In the 1970s, an inventor named Joseph Newman created a device that he claimed would revolutionize the world's energy systems. Dubbed Newman's Energy Machine, this DC motor was said to output more mechanical power than the electrical input it received, a bold claim challenging our basic understanding of physics. In 1979, full of optimism, Newman applied for a patent. However, the U.S. Patent Office rejected it, labeling the invention a perpetual motion machine, which is scientifically implausible. Not one to give up, Newman appealed, leading to a series of intense legal battles and a rigorous scientific evaluation by the National Bureau of Standards, now known as the National Institute of Standards and Technology. Their verdict in 1986: the machine's output power was indeed less than its input, thereby upholding the Patent Office's decision. Despite this setback, Newman's saga didn't end there. He argued that the system had wronged him, even attempting to bypass traditional routes by appealing directly to the U.S. Congress in 1986. His efforts were in vain as the lawmakers, including Senator John Glenn, remained unconvinced, especially after discrepancies in the independence of his expert witnesses were revealed. The intrigue deepened in 2007 when the Alabama Securities Commission issued a cease and desist order against Newman's Energy Corporation for selling unregistered stock. Number 3. Free Energy. John Bini. John Bini, an inventor out of the ordinary, embarked on a journey to harness what he claimed to be free energy, leading to the development of his controversial Bini free energy generators. These devices, based on the principles of electromagnetic over-unity, promised to produce more energy than they consumed, a claim that instantly put him at odds with established scientific principles. Bini's technology utilized a combination of a rotating flywheel and electromagnetic coils to allegedly generate excess energy. His most famous model, the Bini SG, became a DIY sensation, with enthusiasts worldwide attempting to replicate his results. Despite numerous public demonstrations and detailed blueprints shared openly, no scientific institution could validate his claims, often dismissing them as violations of the law of conservation of energy. Rather than silencing through nefarious means, Bini faced a different kind of suppression. His patents were met with skepticism, and the broader scientific community largely ignored or criticized his work. Instead of being physically silenced or harmed, it was Bini's ideas that were stifled, drowned out by a chorus of scientific disapproval. Bini continued to advocate for his technology until his death in 2016. Number 2. Radiant Energy Device, Thomas Henry Moray. Thomas Henry Moray was an inventor who in the 1920s developed what he called the radiant energy device. Moray's invention purportedly harnessed cosmic energy extracted directly from the environment, which he claimed could provide a limitless supply of power. Moray's device consisted of a series of tubes and semiconductors that, according to him, could generate up to 50 kilowatts of power by capturing radiant energy from the surrounding atmosphere. This claim was extraordinary, considering it promised a revolution in the way we produce and consume energy, completely bypassing traditional sources like coal, oil, or nuclear power. But not all was smooth in Moray's world of innovation. His path was filled with obstacles, chiefly the scientific community's staunch skepticism. They labeled his invention a perpetual motion machine, a term used for devices that are impossible according to the known laws of physics. Despite Moray's demonstrations, which he conducted numerous times, his claims were met with disbelief and dismissed as unscientific. The conflict reached a peak when Moray's life was threatened, and his laboratory ransacked, an attempt that some believe was to silence him and bury his discoveries. Number 1. Somatid Theory and the 714X Cancer Treatment. Gaston Naessens. In the late 20th century, a groundbreaking yet controversial figure, Gaston Naessens, developed a theory that promised to revolutionize our understanding of cancer and its treatment. He introduced the world to his somatid theory, along with an unconventional treatment called 714X. Naessens, a French-born researcher, claimed that somatids, tiny organisms in the blood previously undiscovered, play a key role in the health of our cells. According to Naessens, somatids are normal parts of the blood, essential for life and immune system functioning. However, he believed that under certain conditions, these somatids could evolve into harmful forms, leading to disease, including cancer. From this theory, Naessens developed 714X, a treatment derived from camphor and other substances, which he claimed could regulate the life cycle of somatids and restore health. Naessens' innovative approach, however, was met with severe resistance and legal challenges. In 1989, he was brought to trial in Quebec, Canada, where he faced charges of practicing medicine without a license and the illegal distribution of 714X. The trial became a focal point for debates on medical freedom and the acceptance of alternative treatments. Despite being acquitted of all charges, the scrutiny and legal battles took a toll on his reputation and hindered his ability to conduct further research. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.